Okay, so I'd like to call the West Neck District Water Meeting to order. And the first order of business is the minutes from July 11th. If you've had a chance to look through them.
I unfortunately couldn't be here that time.
So I'll give you a second to go over that. Some of these items are good and they've been resolved. There he is.
Hello,
Hey, Joe.
how are you?
We're good. We're just looking over the minutes from the last meeting. So if you just give us a minute to do that, and then we'll get to your portion of the
Go right ahead.
report. We can always move the financials to after. You guys can just let me know when you're.
Oh, I'm sorry to miss this. Guess who can't get into Temetra?
Okay, I'm gonna rush us along. See it earlier. All right, so,
I so move. We accept the minutes.
okay.
Curb as much as I can.
All right, and if, you've had a chance to, or I mean, if there's anything that you really haven't had a chance to look deeply at, we can touch base at the end of the meeting. The only thing about the minutes that I wanted to bring up was the applications.
Yeah.
And the applications are sort of still being processed.
Wow.
And I know I got a call from the architect of one of the applicants, so I don't know where they are, but they're somewhere in the pipeline for getting connected.
Do you get regular updates from SQUA about the status of these applications?
No, we'll ask Joe about that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on, we'll move our financials to the end, if that's okay with everybody. And we'll go to the report. And the three items were securing the well area discussion. We talked about that at a prior meeting. And so we want to just touch base and see who does it, what it entails, what the town is responsible for.
Right.
And, so we'll just go for there.
Well, so here's the thing. So those are submersible wells, as you know. They're sitting on a public golf course. So I guess the first question is, what are we concerned about? What is it we want to do? We want to make sure that they don't get tampered with? Is that your concern?
Well, it's my concern. They're open to the public, and I know they have locks on them.
Yeah, they're not open. I mean, they're basically sealed. You would
Right.
need to go over there with tools to open it up if you wanted to, yeah.
And I think that my concern isn't really so much as someone getting into the well as much as what can get dumped on the top of the well site.
The area around it, okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Not, and again, it's a far cry if something will happen, the chances of
Right.
anything happening are, you
Well,
don't even want to say anymore because things happen.
Yeah.
Joe,
No,
in your experience, Joe, have these type of wells been vulnerable, have pranksters or terrorists, whatever? I mean,
Right.
What's your experience with that?
well, look, we have a lot of these, right? So we have, probably 150 submersible wells throughout the system in various locations. We've never really had a problem with anybody tampering with them, but, knock on wood, that's just where we are right now. There had been a couple of times when the health department has looked at some of them that were like in the middle of nowhere. And they said, we'd like you to put something on there to secure it. And it's just from a tampering standpoint. See, what you're talking about, Lisa, is like a source water protection kind of standpoint. And honestly, I don't know that that's a huge issue with the golf course. You know, I mean, I know they put chemicals down on the golf course.
Yeah,
So far, that hasn't been a problem. And again, I don't know how we even protect against that, you know, other than putting up like a 6-foot fence
Yeah.
around it in some way,
which would be unsightly.
which would be unsightly. So, you know, can I share my screen? I'm just going to show you a couple of different options. So hang on, let me just figure out how to do this.
Wells are on town property, right?
Yes.
So if someone were to be injured, would it be our West Next responsibility or town government responsibility? Not that I would want anything to happen, but if that's part of the concern.
Yeah, I would say it's the town's liability.
So it might be in their interest.
We don't know
It's
for
probably
sure.
it's the town, right? Because it's the town's asset.
Yeah,
So look, so here are a couple of ideas on what could be done. So you can see my screen?
oh,
Are you able to see my screen or?
Not yet.
No? Okay, hang on. How
Here we
about
go.
now? Okay.
sort of coming. There we go, sort of.
Can
we
you
are.
see that? Can you
Yes.
see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one possible option. It's pretty ugly looking, but it's a fence. It basically is just keeping people away from the whatever's inside the fenced area. So that would be one way to handle it. Another way to handle it would be something like this. Just some type of enclosure, like some type of screened enclosure that just goes over the submersible pump.
Or
And
Page.
that's one. This is another. You know, you can buy these things pre-manufactured that would go over them. So that's another way to handle it. Do either of those look like something you'd be interested in?
Are they expensive?
No, but honestly, you're not gonna pay for it. We're gonna pay for it. So you don't have to consider, you know, what this is gonna cost.
Squaw's paying for it.
Yeah, this is just what we do. I'm not gonna turn around and make you pay for it. This is part of our agreement.
Well, I think that we need to decide, you know, I'm only one on the board and I always, things are good until they're not, you know? Nothing happens until it does. So that's what I'm thinking in terms of safety, for some eventuality.
Yeah, I mean,
But
listen,
I could be an alarmist here.
my concern would be similar to what the health department's concern would be, and that would be tampering. Right? The health department, although they're concerned about source water, it's not really easy to protect these wells from something happening on the surface and contaminating them. I mean, it's all out in the open. So I don't know I can't even imagine what that would be unless it was some crazy person that was, you know, deliberately gonna try to contaminate the wells. And that would really be the slow way to do it anyway. You know what I mean? Contaminating the groundwater. If somebody was really nefarious, they would just go to the well and do something to the well.
Oh, yeah, but this is, Joe, this is 2025 in terms of, you know, nefarious and somebody contaminating a well, sure.
Oh,
Why
yeah.
not?
Listen, it's
And
all
it's not
possible. Yep.
expensive.
Yep.
It's ugly, so, you know, so what? It seems like something that's over prudent, maybe.
But I'm not sure these cages
Until
would make a
something
difference,
happens.
would they?
It's not out of the question, Bob. It's really not out of the question. I'm sure that if I showed it to the health department, they would say, kudos. We want that, you know, we would like to see you do it. So I'd be more than happy to do something like this. I think it would be relatively easy to do. It would provide that tamper protection that we're talking about. It wouldn't be terribly unsightly. So if that's what you want to do, I'd be more than happy to do that.
I'm sort of I'm leaning into the cage idea.
Yeah, me too.
Too.
It also is a visual warning not to mess with it or not even accidentally. You know, if you're hitting your ball there, you might not want to try to go get it, trip on something or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And there is a lot of, there are a lot of obstacles in that area. You know, there's a lot of stuff.
Would this be an eyesore for any look for like adjacent homes?
Yeah.
We're talking something very small now, right? This is probably
Just
3x3 square. That's maybe 3 feet high. It's not very big at all.
I mean, they might welcome it too.
And you
Just
saw the one picture that was green. We can probably paint it green
Good
and,
idea.
let it blend in.
Would it be onerous for the guys that work the wells and do the testing for them to get in and out of it?
No, it'll
No?
have some type of locking hatch or something on it so that it can be easily removed and you can pull the pump or take a sample. Yeah, we'll make sure of that.
Well, I think it's a psychological comfort.
Uh-huh.
Why it may not, there may not be a need for it.
Right.
I don't know.
No, we'll do it.
What do you
But no,
think?
you're absolutely right. I mean, in terms of so much of that stuff is opportunistic, not
Yes.
necessarily planned out. So you come by, and it's wide open, yeah, let's sink something
Right.
down in there.
Right.
There's a fence, well, it's too much trouble.
You make it hard on them, they'll go somewhere else. Yep.
Yes.
Because we don't have cows to tip here.
Right.
That's a
So
joke.
let's do it.
All right. All right. So
Okay.
I'm gonna tell them, I'll tell the engineers to put something up there.
Great,
Great.
Okay?
yeah.
Okay.
The next item is the timetable of the tank installation. I know you talked about it last time, so if you just.
Did we
January?
talk about the design with the board? I forget what happened. I went on vacation
Not this
here.
board.
No, so do you want to take a look at what it looks like? and-
Absolutely, let's do
All
that.
right, so let's do that. Let me see if I can pull it up here.
Could you just review what precisely that is referencing? The tank installation?
Oh, this is the tank that is in the pump house right now,
Right.
that during the reconstruction and the reconnection, the connection to it got all busted up. The tank is old, it's
So it's probably,
compromised,
right. Okay.
so.
Time
we
to
want
switch.
to Put in a bigger one and a newer one.
Got it.
Because tanks they deteriorate over time.
All right, I'm gonna share my screen again.
And that was actually
Oh,
built
now it's not letting me share.
into the pump house. This one, I think he said is gonna be outside. They're gonna dig a hole and put it outside.
Okay, share. Okay. So if you can see that, this is the
Yeah, we saw-
profile,
I did
these are
see
the
that.
elevations of the planned building. It's not much of an interesting building. It's just an extension off of the existing building. Let me show you what the site plan looks like.
Oh, so this is gonna be an extension of so that the tank will be inside.
Yes, everything is undercover indoors.
Gotcha.
Bear with me. Okay.
We lost you, Joe.
Yeah, no, I'm just going through the machinations here of sharing this again. All right, so this is the plot plan. So this is the thing that concerns us most because, we put that generator in over here and then we had some complaints from the neighbors. So we have forwarded this to Joe Fenora already to take a look at.
Yeah.
But if you take a look, so here's the existing pump house.
Joe, could you blow that up a little bit
Yep.
so we could, see it there?
That's better.
That better?
Yep, thank you.
Okay, so here's the existing pump house. These are the two underground hydro tanks that are there now.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we're doing with this addition is we're going to be adding a new hydrant tank because these two hydrant tanks are leaking. And this hydrant tank, there's not enough storage in this system. We need more storage in the form of a larger hydrant tank. So we're going to add this hydrant tank here. So that will be in combination with this one. That'll give us, I think, almost 10,000 gallons of storage, which is good. And then
Okay.
this here, this is a granular activated carbon filter. So this removes the PFOA and PFOS. I think we just have PFOS in well number 6A.
6, yeah.
That's relatively low, but still needs to come out. So this filter will take that out.
Okay.
Okay, so like I showed you, it's all going to be under one roof.
Mhm.
It's like a separate structure, but it's not very complicated. So all at this point I need is for guidance from the town, because we've already ordered the hydro tank. The hydro tank's supposed to be in within a month or so. We are in the process of putting together the contract and the order for the GAC filter. And the lead time on that's probably 5 or 6 months. But I want to get straight with the town what they need from us. From what I understand from Joe Fenora, it's basically a building application. You know, we're basically, the regulations you have is that municipalities within the town have to apply for building permits. So we're going to have to apply for a building permit, just like
Yes.
anybody else.
Anything else, Amber?
My only concern is, hi, it's Amber in the audience here. My only concern is, does it meet all the setbacks, so it wouldn't require a ZBA variance?
Right.
And then also, my only other thought that I just would have to think about a little bit more is whether or not it requires site plan review. But the building department, if you submit everything to the building department, you will get either your building permit or a letter of denial redirecting you to the town board for site plan review.
Okay. So, so we should submit something to the building department, Amber?
Yes, sooner rather than later, just in case.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I think that when my engineers put this together, they looked at all the setbacks, and I believe that it's in concert with those. But of course, we'll check to make sure.
I think we talked about that because we talked about the setbacks for the generator as well.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, I think if Joe's looked at it, hopefully he has considered that and would have pointed that out.
Right.
Joe Fenora.
I'll just
Okay.
shoot him an email tomorrow. And what is tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, anything Joe can do to help us through this process, because this is
Right.
not something, we don't normally do this. You know, we typically, we're an authority, so we typically don't have to comply with building departments and local codes and whatnot. But because we're operating this for you and it's your property, if you're required to comply with it, then we'll go along with that.
Yes, we do have to follow all of the town
Got to follow the town's rules. Yep.
rules, just to make sure everybody is satisfied with this.
Understood.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
So the answer to your question on the timeline, there are a number of pieces that have to fall into place here to make this happen. So I would say we're looking, hopefully we have this thing in service for next summer.
mhm.
That would be my hope. As long as there's no, major issue of any kind with the building department or the neighbors or anything like that, then it should be relatively easy to do. It's a very uncomplicated structure. It's a stick frame structure, so it's not going to take long to build.
And I would think that everybody on the district would be very excited to have this, especially the filters.
Well, I would think so. Yep.
So anything we can do to facilitate this, we will
Okay.
do so.
Okay. Well, the big thing would be maybe if you could just whisper in Joe's ear and just say, hey, Squaw's going to want to move this through. And I think he's already seen it. Like I said, Tim Kilcommons, my chief engineer, I think has spoken to Joe about it already.
Great. Great. The next one was historical pumpage, well depth to date, and water table concerns. I did get some information the information about annual pumpage comes with the invoices that we get at the end of the year.
Okay,
But in light of the fact that we are experiencing a drought, and SQA has issued many notifications, I just wondered how, what the status of our wells were they healthy? I
yeah,
did have a chance, I think a couple weeks ago, okay, now I can't remember the organization. They put in-
USGS?
Yeah, USGS put in a monitoring well. So I did ask them, what they thought the status was, and they went down, I think, 55 feet on the monitoring well.
Uh-huh.
And they seemed to think that it looked good, but I'm just throwing this out to you.
Sure.
If you have a drought.
Yep. So look, there's a couple things we can do here. One, we can default to the USGS because the USGS does collect monitor well data on Shelter Island.
Yeah,
And I can send you the link. I don't know if you have that, but they have a website and you can actually go on the website and take a look at your particular area.
yep.
Do you want me to share my screen and show you?
Or you can do that. I know where I have the access to that I used to.
Okay.
But yes, sharing it would be great.
I'll show you the two things that I have to kind of help you get a better feel for where things are at. I'm going to share again. Good luck. Here we go. I think that's it. Okay. All right. So this is their website.
We're waiting, Joe.
Yeah. Is this stuff in the way here? How's that?
We've got a black, there we
Here it
go.
is.
Can you see the website now?
Yep.
Yeah, and again, if you could just, thank you,
Yeah.
expand it.
So here, if you take a look, now this is the USGS New York Groundwater Watch. And like I said, I can send you the link for it.
Yeah, that'd be
This
good.
basically these are all their monitor wells that are on Long Island. And if you take a look, they have this color coding system here over on the right to give you an idea of where the wells are with respect to water levels. And surprisingly, if you take a look at the main body of the island, you can take a look, you can see pretty much all of these are in this somewhat low level. So they're lower than normal. The green ones are normal. And, if you look at Shelter Island, I don't know if you guys have been having more rain than the rest of the island, but,
No?
but you can go here and what you can do is you can click on any one of the ones that you're interested in. Now, they don't have one over here, but they're going to be putting one over here. So the closest monitor well is this one. And if I click on that, it actually gives me the data for it. And it does it month by month. Now, this is like what they do is they look at the data over the years of data. They'll have like 40 years. I think they tell you how many years of data they have for it. Oh, here. They have 30 years of data for this particular well. And the data, statistically from year to year, they lay out how the data varies. And what this is on the vertical axis is this is the groundwater level, okay? And the idea would be that the lower the number here, the lower the groundwater would be. And if you take a look, you can see this is the sample they have for this month, this red square, and it falls right in the normal range. This is I'm not sure exactly how they come up with this, but they say that this green is the normal range. So right now, the groundwater levels in this spot on the island, which again is probably a mile away from us, they're normal. But if you look throughout the whole island, it looks pretty good.
And that's this is live monitoring.
It's not live. No, it looks to me like they take a sample once a month because that's what this is. This is an observation or a sample.
I know the WAC discussed getting on board with the live monitoring.
Yeah, they're talking about doing that. I'm not sure when they're going to do it or what, but.
So this would be representative of August or July?
Well, so here you go. So this is September, August, July. So now if you want to look at a trend, you can see, remember, we had a fairly wet May and June.
Mhm.
And you can see the water levels actually went up during that period. But then after July, or the beginning of July, it looks like they're on the way down. And you shouldn't be alarmed by this because aquifer levels change all the time. You know, we go through wet years when they're very high, we go through dry years when they're very low. The question is, you know, how is this trajectory compared to previous trajectories? But again, the kind of the litmus test is that they're in the normal range. So I think that, you know, again, we talked to them and they came back and they said, the water levels look pretty normal on Shelter Island. I have one other method of telling what's going on, and I'm not 100% sure I can find it. Bear with me. Yep, I got it. So I'm going to stop sharing, and then I'm going to reshare. So this is data that we've collected, and this is in the Daring Harbor wells. And the Daring Harbor wells, obviously, they're over in Daring Harbor. Just so you understand, this is what the wells look like in Daring Harbor. Same thing as you guys. It's just a submersible well casing sticking up.
We can't see it.
We don't have
it.
Oh, you don't see it? I'm sorry. How about now?
Well,
Yes, it's on its way.
there you go.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, so like I was saying, this is a picture of one of their wells. This is off of Menantic over in Daring Harbor. But this is the data that we've been collecting, and we do monitor the well over there. So if you take a look, these are the levels below grade. So as I go this way up, we have more water. There's less distance between the ground and the water table. So this indicates a high water level. This indicates a low water level. So in the case of Daring Harbor, this is our last sample over here. It's like in July or August. It's down in this spot. If you look at last July or August, you move over to here. It's pretty close to where it was. Now, right now, the trend is down, but you would expect that because we've had 3 consecutive months of relatively dry weather.
And it's also our peak period, you know, peak
So it's our
usage.
peak period of pumping and also the driest period.
Yeah.
You know, now hopefully we're going to get into some rain. You know, it's the fall and it should rain. So that's when we get a lot of our recharge. So, you know, at this point, I would say that the Daring Harbor wells look fairly normal. Yours look fairly normal. So I'm
Okay.
going to have to say at this point, my assessment is that things are okay right now.
Good. Any questions? I mean, I think we're always relieved to get to Labor Day and then,
Yeah.
you know, without incident or without sucking
Yeah.
any sand up.
You know, the system has been running pretty well at this point. I will bring you up to speed a little bit on the hotel. So I've spoken to Ledge over at the hotel a number of times this summer. I like to keep touch with him to see how things are going. You know, do they have adequate water pressure? You know, the hotel, the problem with the hotel is that it's fed off of West Neck Road?
Stearns Point.
Stearns Point Road.
Yeah.
It's fed off of Stearns Point. There's that long service line that runs down through that very, very long property. It's an 1.25 inches or 1.5 inch line. It feeds the Kraus house and the hotel.
No, it's not much.
And that's not much of a line. I mean, you know, Bob, your house has a 1-inch line going to it, and that's just your house. This is an entire hotel hanging off of a line that's only 50% bigger than the service line for your house. So we put some recorders down at the hotel and up on Stearns Point Road where the service is back in like July and August, just to record what the pressures look like. And while the pressures up on Stearns Point Road look fine during the peak periods, the pressures at the hotel go down to 20 pounds, sometimes less.
Wow.
And it's counterintuitive because, first of all, the hotel is downhill from Stearns Point Road. It drops about 60 feet, probably somewhere around there. So the pressure is increasing, or should naturally be increasing, as you get down the hill. But the resistance and the friction losses on that service line are so much that the pressure drops on the service line when they use a lot of water at the hotel. And that's usually like 9 o'clock at night on a Saturday.
Right, yep.
So we recommended to Ledge that he put in a new service line for the hotel. He said he's gonna take it back to the fellow that owns the hotel. But we told him that what he should do is the Kraus house should be on that existing service line, and that's all the just the Kraus house should be on that line, and they should put in a new line just for the hotel.
Yeah, it's the property.
It's the length of the yeah, it's a long run.
But it's also who owns the property that the service line is on.
Oh, okay.
That is in question. I don't have the answer in my head.
Okay.
Because remember, when these lines were put in, they traversed many different private properties. So
Yep.
that's something that they need to
Yeah.
look into.
Mhm.
Well, look, I don't know whether he's gonna do anything about it, or whether they throw up their hands and go, you know what, we made it through the summer. You know,
Yeah.
we don't have to spend $200,000 on a new service line. We'll do something else with our money. I just
Question,
want you to know, I just wanted you to be aware of it.
so you're saying the gravity feed should suffice, but not maybe a bigger pipe would be more optimal?
Yeah, because you won't get that pressure drop on it. Right now, you've got a small pipe and you're pushing a lot of water through it when he's peaking. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? When the restaurant is going and the bathrooms are going, they're using the maximum amount of water, and that's when the friction losses on the pipe become the most exaggerated. And that's when you get the biggest pressure drop across the pipe. And if you get a pressure drop across the pipe, then he has low pressure in the restaurant and the hotel.
well, they are our biggest users. We do want to keep them very happy.
And believe me, I know that, and that's why I call Ledge every once in a while. Hey, how's it going? You know, he's a pleasure to deal with. He's a great guy.
It's good.
And he said, look, I'll go back to, I forget what the fellow that owns it is the famous hotel guy, right? Adrian,
Balaz,
forget his name.
Balaz.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So he said he would go back and talk to him and see if he wants to make an improvement.
Yeah, we want to keep them
Yep.
happy. Okay, good.
All right.
Have either of you experienced any low pressure this summer?
Not particularly, no, not noticeably so.
Yeah. It will get a little better when we put in the new hydro tank, because then when you have more storage, the pressure is going to be more stable. So, you know, you can have people all of a sudden using a lot of water and the tank just kind of gives up a little bit more water and you don't see these dramatic pressure swings. So it will be helpful to have a larger hydro tank.
And the restaurant down at the corner, Leon,
Yep.
they've been doing well. You haven't had any complaints from them?
They fill at night. They have a cistern in the basement.
Yeah.
And they fill that at night, and we can see it when they fill it. We can see it on the charts. You know, it's about 3 o'clock in the morning and the valve opens up and, you know, you can tell.
Good.
But, you know, the other good news is that now with all the electrical improvements that we made, we can run wells simultaneously. So we can run wells 5 and 6 together now. If the demand picks up for some reason, we can never do that before.
Right.
We can only run either 5 or 6. Now we can run 5
They're
and
so
6.
close.
Well, it was just an electrical thing, you know. There was the electric service was across the street on the golf course, and there was just a switch. You had to go out there physically throw a switch if you wanted to run well number 5 or number 6. Now it's all it's just, you know, the 2 wells are hanging off of the main service that comes from across the street now at the pump station.
That's good. Good to know.
Yeah, so I mean, it's, you know, the system is a lot more reliable now. I'm still worried about all that piping, you know, that blew apart last January. That's why getting the GAC put in with the new hydro tank, we're going to redo all that piping as part of that project.
Right.
Everything is going to be turned into steel piping. We're going to get rid of all that PVC piping that's in there. And we will have a brief outage. I can guarantee at some point we're going to have to shut the system down, not for a long period of time, but in order to, you know, to transfer everything over to the new hydro tank and the new filter.
Yes, we just to let you know, we are going to talk about it a little later. We did get the results of the survey back from the customers.
Okay.
And we're still talking about it and trying to collate the information. So it's really not a completed project right now.
Plus information still coming in too.
Exactly.
Okay.
So one of the questions had to do with disruption of service, and was the, have you, and it's interesting because was the disruption scheduled? And we kind of got an equal amount of no's and yeses.
Right, that was the only surprise.
Yeah. So I know when the service is going to be disrupted.
We had one incident where it was disrupted and because it wasn't planned, something broke and.
Well,
You
yeah,
guys
that
got
was
on it
back in
right away.
January.
Yeah, but
that
that
was
could
the-
be
that
what
was
they're
the-
thinking of, you know?
Yeah, that's why we had to send them notice out to everybody not to drink the water.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That could be what respondents were remembering. Because we've also had notices where you've told us it's going to be shut down for a
Yeah.
brief period.
Yeah.
You know, I've told you before, but it's really tough to run a water system with just one pump station. You know, all your eggs are in one basket.
Yeah.
So much nicer when there's another pump station. You can take one out of service, the other one handles the load, and if the power goes out or something catastrophically fails at one station, you got another one that can handle the load. Makes a huge difference.
Well, we did have an outage. We had an outage in the last couple of months, but
Was that power outage?
we did, but we had
Power
water.
Yeah, but you didn't lose water though.
No, we had water.
No, you
So
got a good
it-
generator there now.
Yeah, it's big.
Yep, you got a generator that picks the whole place up.
Which is one of the big pluses of being in this district is that if the power goes down in my house, I still have water.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, that's the way it worked, you know, I mean, with the water authority, when we had that big blackout, remember that blackout, what was that 25 years ago? And even Hurricane Sandy, nobody lost water in the water authority system. Generators picked up the load everywhere.
And when we'll give you the results of this survey as
Yeah,
soon as
okay.
we, as I say, collate it.
Okay,
And so one of the questions was, were your disruptions solved in a timely manner? And that actually was out of the 20 responses, only one said no. So that's a positive.
good. I'm glad to
Yeah.
hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if I'd like to see it whenever you have the results and you want to share.
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
love to see it. I like to think that we're doing a good job. I mean, you know, the feedback I get from most of your customers that we talk to, and when my people are out in the field, they tell me that they get compliments from most of the people they work with. So,
Great. Yeah, I think you're doing a great job. I think
Yeah.
that, and everybody that I speak to when I go down to the pump house to ask a question
Mhm.
has been very, very accommodating and really willing to help.
yeah, well, that's a requirement to work at the water authority. You got to be accommodating.
Right?
But no, like I said, if you have the results of that, I'd appreciate it if you share it.
Yeah, well. You have any questions? Okay, maybe somebody can prompt my memory because I have here survey discussion, second request. Oh, that has to do with the survey that we're just talking
What
about.
are we, the financials, we're going to wait till the very end?
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, we could do it now. I mean,
I didn't know if it involved Joe or not. That's why I was, yeah. Okay, then that can wait.
do you have any questions for Joe?
I don't.
Does anybody from the audience have any questions for Joe before he leaves the meeting?
Maybe I have a question for you, maybe Amber. Amber, did you hear from my finance group? Did they send you a new amortization schedule as a result of the grant?
Yes, and we
Okay.
have a new bill, and I just need to finish reviewing it. It looks like all of the adjustments were made.
Okay, great,
So we should be able to sign off on that. I just wanted to go.
great.
Yes, because I submitted the abstract for that. So, yeah,
I just wanted,
and I did tell Stephanie it was forthcoming.
yes.
And I have to tell you something, you know, God bless Fred Thiel for coming up with that grant, because that was the most straightforward grant we had ever gotten. The
good.
Dormitory Authority of New York worked so cooperatively with us, And we got the money quickly and they didn't have a lot of paperwork and red tape. It really was a pleasure to work with them.
Wonderful.
Yep.
We didn't grease the wheel here, I don't think.
No,
Like
you
calling
guys
Fred.
didn't have to do really anything, right?
No, we didn't.
No.
Barbara, did you have a question for Joe?
Yeah, I think do you want me to give you my name? Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, Barbara Blum. So you might recognize the name because back in May, I'm one of the people that sent in the application for water service.
Is that Barbara?
Yeah,
Okay,
so I called twice since then, and both times they said it's in your engineering department. I think maybe even Joe Fenor maybe asked you. So as I said, it was submitted in May. They said initially 2 months. So I'm just wondering what your status is, when we might know what.
I'm not sure, Barbara, but there's nothing that should be stopping any of this from happening. So, were you subdividing the property? You waiting for that process or
Yeah,
something?
yeah. It was the connection would come from West Neck Road where your pipe already passes.
Right, So we're
I'm
gonna-
at 53A.
and then we're doing an extension on Manhasset to get to you?
Well, for the subdivision, it's the well to the 53A, so I need the water there for the health department.
Right,
For the Monantic Roadhouse, you would have to extend your main.
right.
I'm not sure if the health department will require that at this time, or if the health department's only gonna want a water availability letter, or they don't care about that house because that well was okay.
Yeah, probably a letter of availability is what they're gonna want.
Okay.
You want me to have somebody call you back to kind of get you guys back in sync? Because that's a new service department. I don't really watch
Yeah.
what they do on a day-to-day basis.
I mean, initially they said, it's summer, people are on vacation, but it is in engineering in that department that you mentioned, and, we'll get back to you, but, so May, June, July,
right.
August,
All
so we're 4 months.
Sure. All right, I'll make a call over to them, Barbara, and have them call you
Okay.
on Monday.
Actually,
Yeah,
if
and then
there's,
we'll,
just want to interject, if there's anyone else who has an application in, calling them as well with an update would probably be well received. I don't know if you're the only one, but I don't.
you had mentioned an architect when you first started the meeting?
The other applicant, the architect for the other applicant did ask some questions,
Okay.
and I referred him to Jason Heim at the Health Department,
Oh, okay.
because we couldn't really answer the question.
That's the fellow on Stearns Point Road?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay. I've spoken to him. We gave him a letter of availability, so I guess
Okay.
he's dealing with the health department right now.
So you may be good to go.
Okay.
I have my, let me see here, what you call it, my submission unique identifier. Do you need that number, or you'll just get it?
No, that's all right. I know your name and I
Okay.
know it's West Neck, so
Okay,
it's not like we're handling a lot of applications.
yeah, so
for
if,
West Neck.
if someone could let me know next week where we stand.
I'll have somebody call you.
Great, and then I'll get back to you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, great. Yeah, I have nothing, no other questions. Things seem to be humming along very nicely. Amber, do you have anything? No?
It would be great if Barbara's application could be moved forward in a timely manner because she has been waiting for so long.
Yeah.
Understand.
If it isn't problematic, it would be really good.
Yeah, I'll find out what's going on and we'll contact her next week.
Great.
All right, well, thank you, Joe.
Okay, it's good seeing you all.
Yeah, and, yep, good news all
Okay,
the way
I'll talk
around.
to you- I'll talk to you soon.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Was there some issue with Barbara's application?
What's that?
I thought it was all smooth and just moving along.
Yeah, as far as we know, but the problem was, as she said, getting a hold of SQUA.
Yeah.
They kept telling her it was in their engineering department. There was a holdup there. So
Oh, okay.
it's not anything that we're doing. She's all ready to
I
go.
just wondered, I mean, she seemed not particularly angry or impatient. She
Oh, I
should've-
think she's impatient.
Well, she should have been,
Yeah, she should be.
It's a while. It's been a while.
Because her own well is not good and her health department is hassling her about replacing it. So she wants to do this. I mean, it would be terrible to have to replace the well
Yeah.
or have her house declared. I don't know, whatever health department would do.
Well, the health department would prefer that they go on SQUA.
Right.
the access is there to public
Well, I
water.
guess she could prove that this is in process at
Yes.
least, if they're hassling her. I don't know
Yeah.
what, but just, she's been waiting a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that portion.
So, I mean, which brings up, what's our role in this? Do we have, I mean, we have a dog in the fight? I mean,
Well, I think that the town's role, our role,
Yeah.
had, what initially was to make sure that the town board was okay and, you know, sort of blessing us to expand the district
Mhm.
to include these two properties that were not within the district. And so that was our role. And the town board did approve it. So now it's really between the applicant and SQUA. I mean, we're, as you say, we're advocates, we're watchdogs, we
well,
can,
are we? I mean, should we have been knocking on Squaw's door? Or should we have said, hey, guys, you know, wake up?
if someone comes to us, and Barbara did talk to me about this, but it didn't seem like an imperative at the time, or maybe I was just not paying enough attention. If a customer comes to us and says, I'm getting nowhere, then yeah, I think we definitely have a role to kick in and push a little bit.
Okay, it's,
Like I'm supposed to write a protest song now.
well,
After reading
or
her.
start thinking of yourself as just an appendix. Whichever pleases you, yeah.
Well, our role as a board is I mean, I'm not very clear on it now. I used to be pretty clear on what our role was, but now that we do have SQUA running it,
Clear.
I used to be clear because we were the sort of the clearinghouse for anything in the West Neck Water District, but
Well,
now,
this was before Squaw.
before SQUA, but now that
Oh, well,
SQUA's
yeah, but
there,
Then you were in charge, but, you know, it's
Exactly.
Squaw, it's, you know, it's up for grabs.
it seems like mostly we're advocates and we can, you know, prompt or at least at these meetings, be able to push a little bit or at least ask for updates
And monitor the
and
situation.
monitor the
Because that
situation.
is part of the contract with the lease agreement, is that that the town monitor and that they,
So we're the agent of the town in that respect.
exactly.
Got it.
Yeah. The survey discussion, Jessica sent out the second request, and there was a lot more responses, and
If someone didn't get the second request and they would like to do it, summer was just too busy, who would they contact to?
Jesse,
Jessica, okay. So Jessica in the town.
Excuse me, Jane Montgomery at shelterislandtown.gov. It's on the West Neck Water website.
Perfect. All right, so if there's anyone listening or anyone knows of a neighbor who didn't get that email, because sometimes when you do group emails, they get filtered out. My email provider is notorious for deciding I don't need to read that
is
email.
that right?
Optimum is,
So they send it to
I just don't get them.
spam or trash?
Who knows where it goes. Sometimes it doesn't even make it that far. It's tricky. Yeah, it's,
Well, we were kind of encouraged, as Jessica said before, out of the 50-ish customers, we've gotten, 40-some%.
that's pretty good
So-
for a survey.
It's not bad. And we did a third push and got 3 more, correct? So that was good.
Good.
I don't think we want to do another one. So I think what we need to do is, we need to look at it and say, okay, what are we doing with this
Well,
information?
there were no real surprises. The only one was that, the half and half one. But I don't know what that means.
Let's wait till everyone has had a chance to be collated,
Mhm.
before we spend too much time.
Probably the 23 responses we got, that's it, because that was after the third
Mhm.
push. So what should we do with it? I mean, I've looked at it, and I don't know, have you had a chance to kind of look at that graph?
I've looked at it and I don't have a clear, answer of, so, you're concerned or not concerned about the quality of your water? Well, sure.
Yeah, some of the questions were kind of, I mean, obviously everyone's concerned about it, and
Yeah.
I wasn't surprised
So
that
what-
people
what
thought it was
is the-
expensive.
So what response does that evoke on our?
Well, I think it's good for SQUA to get a sense of how their newest clients are reacting to the process. And, if someone does post there, I called and no one responded, or, that would be important for them to know. And I think our job is to kind of read it carefully, at least this is my view, and kind of see if there are any particular points that we might be able to facilitate or help with, but then ultimately share the statistics. One little problem for anyone listening is that they are anonymous, so we don't know who sent them in. So if someone redoes it, they might be counted twice. I don't think that's the end of the world. This isn't, some big deal, but it is anonymous, so we don't really, unless someone self-identifies, we really wouldn't be able to, kind of tell. So it's both reassuring for participants, but it also might be a little frustrating because they might have forgotten whether they
That
did it.
fits in, because we should be satisfied with the response. Statistically, it's a good response.
Yes, I agree.
Do you want to take time to look over this and come up with a more solid idea of like some of the comments, since I had a hard time accessing them, but now I can. What do you think? Should we review this and sort of talk about it?
During this meeting, or wait until we get the new ones in?
Oh, wait, like maybe wait next week?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to make sure we include any new ones that came in,
Okay.
because I don't think I saw those.
Okay.
Yeah, and then make a decision. Well, I don't think we should just hand it off to SQUA. I think we should sort of pay attention and say, okay, is there anything we can do here?
Right, I agree.
Can we communicate better with customers?
Yeah, that might be one of the lessons we would be learning.
Yeah, and then the Temetra question. And I also found the question, do you drink your tap water, interesting, because there was a heavy no
Really?
response. So I'd like, is that on the graph? Jesse, could you bring the graphs up here so we could look at that? I thought that was helpful.
Yeah, just give me a minute.
Yeah, I'll give you a minute. And so this.
People don't just have a custom of using filtered water, period. Even if they trust the water, they just feel more comfortable using
Well, we have a
filtered.
filter on our refrigerator, which I imagine a lot of
Right,
people.
a lot of people do.
So what's the answer to the question?
That's a good point.
Are you or are you not?
Well, but this question was, do you drink your tap water? And they said no. Because then we have another question, the subsequent one is, do you use a water filtration system such as an RO, activated carbon, ultraviolet? And quite a few people said no. And so they don't drink the water, but they don't use a water filtration system, so they just buy bottled water. I think, can I make that correlate, that assumption from that?
I guess, although I use a Brita filter, I'm not sure I would know what an RO, whatever
Reverse
that.
osmosis?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a whole house thing installed,
Yeah,
but, and yes, my ice cubes come through a filter, so if I wanted to be, consistent, I'd say, well, some of my water is filtered, but I'm sure some people prefer having a whole house system, and, that could be a personal choice. I drink right out of the tap too, and I've never, it tastes fine to me, it doesn't, I haven't grown horns or anything yet.
so would it be embarrassing if I asked you, do you drink the water?
Embarrassing?
Yeah,
No, I certainly drink the water. But we also, as I said, we have a filtration system in the refrigerator.
as we do.
You put a glass up against it, and I would tend to drink that. Although we're more likely to drink seltzer or the Italian fancy water, whatever the name ever, block it out,
Pellegrino.
Pellegrino. Right, so now I'm embarrassed. But, I mean, the point is, I don't have a household system. So if I, use water in the from the bathrooms, that's drinking the tap.
Yeah.
So my reaction to is, do you drink your water? And if it looks like almost half the people say no, I would say, I would like to know, have they done the research with regards to municipal water, the safety of municipal water versus the safety of bottled water? I think that it's psychological that we have confidence in bottled water when that actually comes from another municipal district.
Oh, it's completely misplaced. Bottled water, there's fewer regulations on bottled water than there are on water that, like,
And
Squaw
especially
has
if
to
you like
process.
plastic.
Yeah, well, there's that piece too, but I mean, it's kind of fascinating that a lot of those Poland Springs, they're basically tap water.
Yeah.
Just put in a bottle and then we pay money for it. It's quite a gig they got going there.
So I wonder if kind of bringing that information together and disseminating that to customers, or do you think that people are just locked into the way they think and that's that?
I think it depends on, some individuals probably just say, I just feel better if I open that tap myself. Or I only buy this kind of water. Or I don't like the taste, I like a particular kind of taste. And I think you're going to get a wide range. But on the other hand, if it's lack of information, that might be something we could provide.
Yeah, because the next one is taste, and there's only one response that says poor. Everything else is good, average, excellent, fair. So I don't know. Could I ask that we just looked at this, take some time and look at it, and then see what we all come up with, if there's
If
even,
there's something that really jumps out that maybe
Yeah.
there's something we could do.
we can do. Okay,
Absolutely.
so we'll take, and so these are the graphs, which are, I find, being a visual person, are very helpful. And the one for do you drink your tap water, is that right there? So it's,
It's like 50, well, yeah, 57 no, and only 43% yes, but it's
Yeah.
close.
yep. And then the subsequent question is, do you use a water filter? And most people don't.
Activated carbon's probably what's in my Brita filter.
Yes, it is. All right, well, I found,
I
I'm,
appreciate that people took the time to do this survey, so I think we should definitely give it due diligence.
yes, I completely agree.
And also, I think if we could, really impart some information
Yeah.
about water, that would be great.
Yeah.
Might be very helpful. I mean, and they probably are safer drinking this water. Certainly in Poland Springs. I've been to Poland Springs.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah.
The Temetra question, which I don't really see, I just see Temetra. And I don't see the question. I can't seem to access that. But, one person did say, no, gave up, unable.
Here's the tricky thing with Temetra, that if you just Google it, you're going to get the wrong link. And there's a couple links that show up. You have to get just the right one. So conveying that information to our members, I think that's really important.
Yeah.
Because once I got the particular URL that worked versus the others that don't, it works.
Yep. All right, so that's information that we can put,
And I have started checking it. I try to do it regularly after I had that horrible leak last fall that I did not know about, and that cost me $1,500, which was not fun. But now I check, and I know at least at night, if there's no water use, I know it's not leaking, and that's kind of what I go to.
well, I set our alarm, and I can't remember right now what the alarm is set at.
I have an alarm too.
I think it's 4,000 CCUs, 100 cubic units, feet. And so I set the alarm, and Tom got a ding, the alarm went off. So I immediately went to Temetra, and what happened is we're getting an IA system installed. So the water got filled up, the cistern for the IA system got filled up,
Okay.
and it was like 1,500 gallons.
Wow.
It was a lot.
All right.
And it was like, oh my gosh. So I was very happy to see that we did get an alarm.
Well, that would be helpful too, if we could tell people, because I don't know this, what's a good number to set your alarm at?
Yes,
Because I didn't know what to put there, to be
Yeah.
honest. I think I picked a random number and who knows? But I think I just look for usage per hour, that clues me in if I've got something bad going on.
yeah. I think I determined it by looking, just Googling what the average two-family household uses per day. And but then our family household jumps to
Right, well-
10 people in the summer, so that doesn't work.
But it'd be good to even just have like a chart like that. If you're a family of 4, this might be a good number to consider. Or if you have 10 people visiting, don't freak out if something like that, just so people
Okay,
have a
yeah.
guide, because there's no guide to using that site. It's just numbers and I'm not a scientist, so it's pretty opaque to me.
Yeah, well, I think that, again, we are sort of the guinea pigs for this Temetra system. And so SQUA, they'd appreciate our feedback with regards to it as well. And so the question, would you like assistance to help you read and use the Temetra media reading program? And it's split, yes and no. So,
I'm a little lost here because Lois handles that.
right.
She gets it.
She's
It's her,
come in meetings.
Hmm?
She'd come in meetings.
she has enough to do. But, so that's all accessible from the Temetra.
And I did suggest
Yeah.
if she'd like, if she'd like me to
Yeah, I
sit
know,
down.
I know.
So I'm not gonna just
Maybe-
knock on the door.
Maybe when the music season is over.
No, okay. Yeah. So again, if we could just take some time, maybe and touch base. And I liked one question, did say, do you have any additional concerns about water conservation? And somebody said, should be no irrigation, which in our rules and regulations, it's only handheld. So that person that is,
Yeah, I'm sure they have no clue.
they don't.
Yeah.
Do we want to let them know? Do we want to enforce our rules and regulations?
At least we can promote our rules and regulations,
Yeah.
even if we're not gonna go door to door.
And sharing them as people change houses, they come in here, they don't know.
No, they don't
what the rules
know.
are.
So, okay, I mean, I don't mind going over there. I don't know who to talk to.
I don't know if anyone's ever there, just the workers.
Yeah,
I've never seen, I could be wrong, but I've just never seen people living there.
is the sprinkler going now? Like,
It was last week, I believe. There was one day it was raining and I was walking by and there were the sprinklers were going and it just seemed so counter.
Yeah.
Because usually you can set those so they won't go off if it's raining, but
well, yes, the irrigation committee is talking about that right now. Is, putting these sensors, these irrigation sensors, making that, sort of codifying it and making it, this is the way that homeowners, this is what they have to use. Because it takes the moisture from the ground, it takes rain into consideration, so it's smart
it
irrigation.
would be great.
Yeah. Well, I might just try to drop by and see if anybody's in charge.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we will go deeper into this. I don't want to go too long here. The discussion rates commercial rental properties, I had asked Suffolk County Water accountant Stephanie Hannon, do they charge rentals? How do they determine, okay, this is a rental property and this is a residential? And she said that it's really up to the homeowner to report what kind of property they have. They don't go around checking if that person on that property is renting, has got a four family unit on their property. So, the reason I'm asking is because we do have one property in the district that is a 3-family rental unit, but they are being charged as a residential. Do we feel that they should be charged, and the owner doesn't necessarily, to my knowledge, live on the property? The units are all rented out. So
Are they 3 discrete buildings?
they're 1 2-family house and then another building
Oh, I
that
think
is
I-
a single-family house. So, they've been, I don't know, let's talk about it. What do
Was
you
there
think?
one water bill that the owner pays, or does everyone have a separate meter?
I don't know what the arrangement that the owner made with Squaw. I don't know if there's 3 different meters. I could ask Mike, the meter guy, or if it's 1 meter. And
Well, if there's 2 buildings, there should be at least 2 meters.
there should be,
They were kind of insistent with my little,
yes.
Where is it?
Well, I don't want to publicly say,
Oh,
get.
okay.
it's in our district, yeah.
I want to keep it just kind of a loose conversation.
But it's a general question too, anyway, for any situation like that is really the issue.
Yes. So what do you guys think? If you know somebody is, we're getting into a lot of gray area here because the house, we have a lot of rentals, like Airbnb places in the district, right? We're not going to charge the owner a commercial rate, even though the owner is collecting money from that property. You're getting all kind of
It's just
legal
too
ramifications. It's very complicated. So, but if we know that there is a literal almost, we know that 3 families are on 1 parcel, and those families are all renting, and the owner isn't, what do you think?
Well, is that typical for Squaw territory, that you would have a different rate for a rental property, a pure rental property versus?
Well, that's what I asked the accountant, and she looked into it for me, and she said, it's self-reporting. In other words, they leave it up to the homeowner or the property owner to describe what goes on that property.
I'm not sure I would even think of that unless somebody asked me the question.
What do you mean?
Well, if I had 2 houses and I was just renting them out, I was an absentee landlord, but the people living there, I wouldn't, when Squaw puts in the new meters or whatever, I don't think I would be saying like, oh, and by the way, these should be classified as rental. I wouldn't even know I had to do that, because I own the house.
Self-report that.
So, well, exactly. So no one, it doesn't make, it just wouldn't even occur to me. I'm not even trying to pull a fast one. I just wouldn't think of it.
Exactly.
So if it's something that ought to be done, maybe some kind of information from Squaw would be helpful for people.
Well, that's what yeah.
I don't know, we want to get in the middle of that.
Okay, so do we want to just let this dog lie?
I have to recuse myself. My wife has just joined the ethics committee, so all moral issues are hers. I think this is insane. It's an insane discussion.
You do?
Yeah, right. If you want rules and have rules, and then you'll try to enforce your rules. Self-reporting certainly doesn't work in a situation like this. No one would think. So if it's really something that we want to deal with, then I think that we should deal with it.
Do we want to deal with it?
Well, irrigation is a big deal, and.
Well, this is about rental.
Well, no, but
Okay.
I'm saying,
Reclassify
any of
something,
these
yeah.
kind of.
But is that our
Different
responsibility
rates,
or the
right?
town's responsibility?
Yeah.
Whose responsibility is it?
As agents of the district for the town, I think that we
Well,
make a decision and go to the
we're
town.
agents for the town.
We are a committee. So we make recommendations to the town. So we might say, we recommend
I see.
that properties that have multiple family dwellings on them and are collecting monies from those dwellings vis-à-vis rent, we recommend that they be charged or be classified as commercial properties. I don't know, what do you think? I asked Judith about this too. It's like a hypothetical.
Yeah, I guess my question is you have a different rate for residential use versus commercial use. So what was the purpose in having that rate structure bifurcated? People living there year-round is still a residential use, so they should pay residential rates?
Because they're living there, they're not running a business out of it, unless they are, but the commercial seems to me they're running a business.
Part of me is like, why do we have a commercial rate to begin with? Like, and does it meet the needs of why that was created? So I'm answering your question with another question.
That's not helping. Okay.
But that's not a question we can handle.
Well, to answer why we set that rate system up to differentiate between commercial and residential, it was a fundraising effort because the sentiment was, and I don't claim to be exhaustive in this information, but to my, very, what am I saying? Losing my memory type of answer. But I think I have a handle on it. And at the time, we felt that commercial users use the system, the amount that they use of the system essentially means that they should pay a higher rate, not just in consumption, but in actual wear and tear of the system itself.
Like the hotel, for
Like the
example.
hotel.
Right.
So that was the theory, that was and it isn't out of line with what other water districts do. Some districts, the more you use, you get a greater discount. Some districts, they charge more if you use more. So we looked at all of that when we set up this rate structure back in 1900s. And that was why we could re-examine that, if you think that we need to.
Well, I mean, is there any validity to for example, the wear and tear theory?
So I don't see how there would
Does a commercial
be.
property make more, demands on a system just because they use more? Or is it, as you said earlier, we really want their money?
Well, both.
Yeah.
And they also came into issue when you're selling water and collecting money for the water that you're selling, which is the district's water,
Right.
should the district get some remuneration for that? Like, for example, and this is all hypothetical, and this is just starting a conversation. I don't really have well, I won't say I don't have a dog in the fight, because I do, but I'm, maybe I'm thinking more archaically than I should. For example, if the restaurant is selling water to a customer or the restaurant is using water to rent a room and getting $1,000 a night for the rental of that room, then should the water rate be included as income? And then should we receive some of that? Am I being too,
I could see that with respect to a hotel.
okay, but I have a question.
Yeah, no,
I can't see.
it's Stella.
Okay. Stella, do you want to jump in on this one?
I just thought maybe it would be helpful if I threw out how the Heights Water District looks at that.
Sure.
So we have 3 different rate structures. One is residential, one is commercial where you're not water consuming, so it could be a real estate office. And then one is when you're water consuming, like a restaurant. We
Mhm.
did kick the ball around to see if we could take advantage of the Airbnb scene.
Yeah.
And we found it very difficult to figure out if they're really, even though someone was monetizing their property, we couldn't figure out if they were actually going to be using that much more water. And we just decided not to go in that direction, especially since Airbnbs became less popular than they were when they first started. So I'll just leave that with you as how we at this point are handling rentals.
I think that makes a great deal of sense, because I'm not sure how you would distinguish between that scenario you just described and somebody who has a separate house and their son and daughter and kids are living there. So there's still two people on there. Maybe you're not collecting rent officially, but it's just a residential. They're living there. They're not running a restaurant or a hotel.
Exactly. And, you know,
Bed and breakfast gets tough, because then it's like, well, how big is it? I mean, if you've got a 20-bedroom unit, maybe that's more bordering on hotel, but where would you draw the line from somebody who has like 4 rooms that they're renting out?
I think that the town provides guidance on what is considered a hotel and a boarding house, and we use that. All right, well, thank you, Stella, for that.
That was
That's-
helpful.
Yeah, it's difficult, but I did want to poke the bear a little bit on this one and just see if there was any valid discussion that could take place. All right, so we will leave that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of other distinctions that you'd have to kind of iron out, just looking at it legally, before you could say, this is a commercial, when they're just a couple living in the back house. All of a sudden, they're probably using less water than me and my family.
Right.
So on the other hand, we do charge more if you use over a certain amount.
That's correct.
So that has a kind of built-in valve. So if you've got a family of 10 living someplace and they use a lot more water than a couple, they will be paying more at a higher water rate because they're just using more.
Mhm.
So in a way, you kind of captured that concept that way, at
Yes.
least with respect to residentials.
Good point.
Yeah, and there's more to that discussion, but I don't want to go there today because I'd like to stop at 4:30. All right, so we'll leave that alone. And then the next item is request for additional board member. Coco said nobody applied. They put the request forward,
They did put a request on.
yes, and there was no response, which doesn't surprise me. I said, it's my feeling that if you put if it was island-wide, you'd have many people that would want to sit on the board, but
We have a very limited pool to draw from.
we do, yep. So I don't know,
Keep the bushes. You guys are closer to, like, who might.
I think we could put out another appeal, especially if we're going to share with our patrons some of this information, like the Temetra information, or whatever information we want to kind of respond to.
Well, make it attractive. You'll be able to pound on your neighbor's door in the middle of the night. See if they're irritating.
well, I guess that my question, Amber, is how long can we operate with 4 people? And,
Until you start having problems making quorums.
yeah. Which we,
But it would be great to have another person,
Have.
if there's anyone
Yeah,
out there listening, or you have a neighbor that would like to possibly get, it's not a huge time commitment.
no, it's once every 3 months.
You know, Sandra O'Connor crops up.
She's not in the system.
What?
They're not
They're not in the system?
connected.
Why? What's she doing up there?
She's just curious.
She's seeking peeks at, no, really, that's interesting. I never heard.
Well, anybody can tune into any meeting.
Oh, sure.
But no,
Ah,
if she was, I would be knocking at her door, but she's not,
okay.
she's not a member of the district.
Surprising, yeah.
But there are some new people that we might be able to take advantage of. And, could maybe some of the new people that are making application, trying to get on,
Yes,
might,
yes,
Maybe
Barbara and
and
Arthur might be interested.
okay, we'll keep with that one.
But
The
it's still
finance-
open if anyone's interested. It's not a closed, so anyone could still put in.
Yep. Yeah. The finances, I'll just go, nothing's changed financially much for us. We have paid our 23 bill. We still have a healthy balance of $145,133.98. So we haven't, and our contributions, I think, income dividend reinvestment, I think that's annual, but I'm not sure, it was 508. I don't know what the interest rate is, but anyway, we're still doing good. We just paid a bill that is now before the town board for, I think it's $1,200,
$1577. And
$1,577.
that covers 2 years. So the concerns we had about the missed billings got taken care of, where we thought we would be eating into the reserve of approximately $25,000 for last year and for this year, because this is 24 and 25, we're only spending $1,500.
Oh,
So that will allow this reserve to last longer, unless you want to adjust rates down a little bit or just keep them where they are, because as time goes by, Suffolk County Water Authority rates are gonna go up, but you can hold your rates flat, the West Neck Water District rates flat, and then allow this reserve fund balance to last longer before having to have a spike hit. So now that this number is good and approved, I can redo that spreadsheet that shows how long conceivably, when I just make some basic assumptions of inflation rates for Suffolk County Water going up each year.
And if we can maintain a good, healthy fund, then our dividends should offset any kind of rate increase.
We have no impending debt that we know of, do we?
We have no debt.
Nothing's coming down.
No? No? I mean, we have enough of a debt.
No, but I mean, something,
Yeah, the surcharges are on the debt.
And just to explain, I look at the bill, and if anybody else wants to look at it, let me know. Amber and I sit down, we pour over the bills, and we found some things that they missed, so we call them up and we say, okay, we think that you need to tweak it a little bit. And then this is, I asked Stephanie Hanna, the accountant, I said, could you please provide a 3-year projection of our largest users to see if they've increased or they've decreased in usage? And so she did that for us, and it's kind of interesting because some people's use went up, so we're getting a little bit more money from them. And, Suffolk County charges this much money, we charge this much money. So people say, well, how come we pay so much for water? Well, this is paying for the surcharge, this money we're getting, because the money that they collect for us goes towards surcharge.
and just define surcharge for us.
That is that 1.5 million.
In other words, all of the improvements that we
Everything.
started off, that we had to initially agree to
Yes,
get our system up to anything resembling a decent system.
right.
Got it. And now from that, so we're paying that off, and that's what that surcharge is.
Yes,
And new improvements, they cover.
yes,
Correct. All right.
like the cages.
Right, yeah,
Probably don't, but they're gonna take care of that. The GAC filtration.
yeah, which is a big thing.
It's a very
The
big thing.
tank too, I'm assuming, is all under
Tank,
that.
it's all
Yeah.
included.
But
So,
we still have to pay off that huge debt because the system was in pretty ragged shape.
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And,
Well, new
It's
members to
1.2.
the West Neck,
1.2.
yeah,
empty.
yeah. The new members may not understand all of that because
And
it's,
so that's
the
something.
bills are big for people who just get city water for free or live in Island and, get a $30 bill every 3 months. Getting a $330 bill is a little bit of a shock. So that kind of explanation is helpful. So A, they're reassured the quality of their water is good, the the infrastructure is safe, but then it comes at that cost that we're all chipping in to pay for.
Mhm.
I'm kind of going over the obvious, but, I'm thinking
Yeah,
like
it's
somebody
really-
who is listening and didn't know all of that.
Yeah, and I think for me personally, that's been some of my frustration, is getting people to listen, to understand,
It's very complicated, I have to agree. I mean,
Yeah.
for anyone who comes from another place where water just comes out of your tap and you don't pay for it. you know, it now may be
You
rolled
do
into
pay
your.
for it, but
You do, but it's rolled into
somewhere
your rent,
It's rolled into the town.
or it's,
Septic
that's
and
right,
water bill,
that's right.
or in your
Yeah, your tax
taxes.
bill or something
Yeah.
like that, yeah. So it's just not as glaring as when you get a separate bill from them.
Yeah. So I don't know if you want to take just a moment to, I'm going to do this. You have this, Jesse gave you this sheet.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I made it really big for me because I can't, I need big things. And I'm just want to briefly go over, I don't want to, I'm going to redact the properties because I don't think that, we need to say location or
No.
names. I don't think that's probably legally within our purview to do so. But one user, whose consumption, and I'm gonna go 2025, from 2023 to 2025, their consumption grew by 48%. So that's the very first property, which is good for us, because we got more money from them. They paid $955 dollars in 2023, and this year they paid $1,413. So that's a good increase for us. The next property that's red, you can see who it is, but I'm not going to say. They increased their water consumption by 7%. So that's a little bit more money for us. The next property, the third one, increased by 33%. The fourth property, I thought this would be a little bit more. They increased their consumption and hence paid more, 3.7%.
do you have the percentages on this, or you
I figured that
calculate?
out.
Thank you, so I'm not missing it then?
No, you're not.
Okay, great, thank you.
However, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th parcel, they reduced, their consumption was reduced by 7%.
Mhm.
You can see they went down in usage. The next property increased by 9%. The fourth to the very bottom property decreased by 3%. And I think this was, well, no, this wasn't really. I can say this publicly. This property, the town of Shelter Island, which is the potty,
Mhm.
they reduced their consumption by 19%. So this was not a good year for people to use the potty down at the beach.
What do you mean, wasn't a good year to use?
Well, there weren't a lot of people using
The
it.
one at the beach, not the one downtown. not the
No,
one-
no, this is the one down at Sunset Beach.
Or else they redid the water so it was more efficient? Did
Could
they
be.
use like high flush toilets or something like that, or,
Could be,
you know,
and that would be a good question to ask.
low flushed?
And then the very last, and this one, I
Interesting.
yeah, the very last, not the last, the second to last, decreased usage by 51%.
Wow.
So I have a call in to Stephanie, who's the accountant, saying, what happened here? Because this is a commercial property, they shouldn't be going down 51%. So
Yeah, that's strange.
the only thing I will say, because it's labeled wrong, and this is actually staff housing.
Oh,
So they used, their consumption in 2023 was 199. And in 2024, it was 47.74. This is, I'm not sure if this is 1,000 gallons or 100 cubic feet. And then their consumption in 2025 was 123.91. So they were high users in '23, really went down '24, and are coming back up in
is that like a
2025.
construction period or something, or?
What happened is when they put the new meters in, there was some discrepancy between the old meter reading, right, and the new meter. There was some guesswork that went in. I know I talked to Mike, the meter guy, about this. He said some meters were going backwards. So they had to make some
I wish
educated
mine had been doing that.
guesses.
Don't report me to Lois, okay?
So this could have been one of the backward running meters. So I'll ask him and say, do you know if,
Is there a commercial property on Burren?
yes.
Oh.
The house there was erected by a commercial builder.
Hmm.
So it wasn't an LLC, it was and again, see, this is going into a gray area, but really the construction company owned that property.
So it's just like a spec house,
It
basically.
was a spec house, and then they sold it, which is why there's nothing in 2025.
Oh,
There's a
okay.
new owner.
Then it becomes residential.
Exactly.
Right?
Oh, okay, okay, now.
We're again in that gray area because they were charged a commercial rate.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, interesting.
but it is interesting. But nobody's yelling about it, so we're just gonna let that go now that.
Oh, no, I mean, it's just interesting, it is interesting,
Mhm.
the complications in the law.
Yeah. Is that, I mean, did I sufficiently kind of describe it?
Yes, you did. That was,
And I will find out about that big, that.
these are not all commercial though, are they? Oh, these are all commercial
These are all
properties.
commercial.
Commercial accounts, sorry, yeah.
These are our commercial accounts.
Got it.
And we can see who's paying, who's footing the bills.
Understood.
Yes. Okay, I think that ends everything that I have to say, and that's on the agenda. If anybody has anything they'd like to bring up,
Should we make a date to rendezvous on survey or anything,
let's do that.
end of the week, end of next week?
Sure. Friday's not usually good for me, but I can. How do you want it? Do you want to Zoom? Do you want to come up here and meet, or you want to?
Well, let's revisit the issue on Wednesday and decide then,
Okay,
in case anybody is.
What do you mean
out of
Wednesday?
town.
Because it's Wednesday.
like just text each other and say,
Aren't you back teaching?
I am, yes. I mean, actually, Fridays tend to be good for me.
okay,
Some Wednesdays are okay
You
too.
have your class in the morning.
Well, they run all day by the time I get there and get back. So Tuesdays and Thursdays are particularly bad, but then I have like meetings all the time. So it just depends on the week.
So let's talk on Wednesday or Thursday.
Will Donna be back? Wasn't she traveling? I mean, if we could get her involved, that'd be good.
yeah. You know, she said she was gonna be here today, so I don't know what happened, but I can, text her, say,
Okay, great.
please look at this over.
That'd be good.
All right, so Wednesday, can we drop it on?
That's Yom Kippur. Does anyone care? Do you think Donna would care? I don't know.
What?
1st of October is Yom Kippur.
1st of October?
That's
What
next
day is
week.
that?
That's Wednesday. Or you want to just decide Wednesday when we're
Decide
going
on
to
Wednesday.
meet? Got it. Never mind.
Do you want me to call everybody on Wednesday? Okay.
I will have had time to really kind of,
Yeah, no, I'm totally busy every minute until Wednesday, so that's great.
you are, really? You're a busy
I
guy.
am, yeah, I am.
Aren't you supposed to slow down here? Aren't you supposed to slow down?
Yeah. But it's a whole lot of things.
All right, I'm gonna close the meeting. If
Do I have
anybody,
everybody's number?
if anybody from the
I'm in the book.
Zoom audience has anything
I'm
that
in
they
the
would
book.
like to
You're in the book.
contribute?
Tershon's in the book.
If not, I'm going to close the meeting and, anybody want
I
to
second it.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody, and,
Thank you for those who attended.
yep, it's been a pleasure.